Right now, millions of Americans are quietly drowning in debt, not because they're buying luxury cars or living extravagant lifestyles, but because they're simply trying to survive. Groceries, rent, gas, healthcare, insurance, everything costs more than it did just a few years ago. And for many households, the credit card has become the financial emergency button keeping their lives afloat. But here's the scary part. America's credit card debt crisis is now reaching historic levels, and most people don't fully understand how dangerous this situation could become. In today's video, we're breaking down why credit card debt is exploding across the United States, how high interest rates are trapping millions of Americans, and what this growing financial pressure says about the future of the U.S. economy. Welcome back to the Dollar Pilot. Today we're talking about one of the biggest hidden problems in the American economy right now: credit card debt. For years, Americans relied heavily on credit cards for convenience, rewards points, travel perks, and everyday spending. But recently, something changed. For millions of households, credit cards stopped being a convenience and became a survival tool, and the numbers are becoming impossible to ignore. Credit card debt in the United States has now climbed to record highs. Americans are carrying larger balances than ever before, while interest rates on those balances have surged dramatically. The result is a dangerous financial cycle, affecting people across nearly every income level. The biggest reason this is happening is simple. The cost of living has risen faster than many people's incomes. Over the past few years, inflation has increased the price of groceries, housing, transportation, insurance, utilities, healthcare, and everyday essentials. Even Americans with decent salaries often feel financially squeezed. When paychecks no longer fully cover expenses, many households turn to credit cards to close the gap. At first, the balance may seem manageable: a few $100s for groceries, a car repair, emergency medical bills, higher utility payments. But once interest starts compounding, the debt grows much faster than people expect. And right now, credit card interest rates in America are extremely high, because the Federal Reserve aggressively raised interest rates to fight inflation. Average credit card APRs have climbed above 20% in many cases. Some Americans are paying 25% to nearly 30% interest on revolving balances. That means even small debt balances can quickly become financially overwhelming. Many Americans are now making monthly payments while barely reducing the actual debt itself. This creates what financial experts call a debt trap. And this problem is not only affecting low-income households anymore. Middle-class Americans earning solid incomes are increasingly relying on debt as well. People making $70,000, $90,000, or even over $100,000 annually are still struggling with rising costs in many parts of the country. Cities like New York, Los Angeles, Miami, Seattle, and Chicago have become incredibly expensive. Housing costs alone consume massive portions of household income. At the same time, lifestyle inflation is also contributing to the problem. Social media constantly pushes people toward spending. Expensive vacations, luxury apartments, designer clothing, new cars, online shopping, food delivery apps, and buy now, pay later services create a culture where overspending feels normal. Many Americans are trying to maintain lifestyles that their incomes realistically cannot support long-term. Another major factor is financial stress and uncertainty. The modern economy feels unstable for many workers. Layoffs in tech industries, fears about artificial intelligence replacing jobs, rising healthcare costs, and concerns about recession have created enormous anxiety. As a result, many households keep using credit cards even when they know the debt is growing because they feel they have no other choice. Student loan payments returning for many Americans also added pressure. Millions of borrowers who paused payments during the pandemic suddenly had another monthly expense return. That forced some households to rely even more heavily on credit cards to manage cash flow. And perhaps the most important issue is that many Americans never received real financial education. Schools rarely teach budgeting, compound interest, debt management, investing, or long-term financial planning. So people enter adulthood surrounded by easy access to credit without fully understanding how dangerous high-interest debt can become over time. Credit card companies also make borrowing incredibly easy. Banks aggressively market rewards cards, cashback offers, airline miles, and promotional financing. But behind those perks is a system designed to profit heavily from long-term debt balances. Now here's the important question. What happens if this debt crisis keeps growing? Historically, rising consumer debt becomes dangerous when people begin missing payments at higher rates. Delinquencies and defaults can increase financial stress across the economy, especially if unemployment rises during an economic slowdown. And right now, economists are closely watching signs that more Americans are falling behind financially. But there's also an important lesson here. Debt itself is not always the problem. The real problem is using high-interest debt to fund a lifestyle without a long-term financial strategy. This is why more Americans are now focusing on budgeting, emergency savings, debt reduction, and financial literacy. Many people are realizing that true financial freedom is not about looking wealthy online. It's about creating stability and control over your future. At the Dollar Pilot, we believe understanding how money works is more important now than ever before. Because in today's economy, financial discipline is becoming one of the biggest advantages an American can have. The truth is, millions of hardworking people are struggling financially, not because they are lazy or irresponsible, but because the modern economic system has become far more expensive, debt-driven, and financially stressful than previous generations experienced. And until inflation, housing costs, and interest rates become more manageable, America's credit card debt problem may continue growing. Stay informed, stay disciplined, and remember, the goal isn't just earning more money. The goal is keeping control of your financial future.